LasVegasTrafficCameras.com. 1725 cameras. Access to the largest network of traffic cameras. Accident? Injured? Get the video footage you need to get justice. 725 cameras. LasVegasTrafficCameras.com.
Videos where you have an officer basically around the neck area.
These two retired Vegas cops now podcast hosts.
You know, they don't have ID, they can't get into a hotel room.
To get them the help they need, especially if someone even gets arrested. A lot of people don't know how the justice system works.
You guys have going on is necessary, it's needed.
Hey, it's David Kohlmeyer, the Problem Solver. Thanks so much for joining today, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Cox Cable, Channel 14. Thanks so much for joining us. As usual, the goal is to solve some problems, provide some resources to people in the community of Las Vegas, Henderson and North Las Vegas. Today, as usual, I have my beautiful co-host, Beja Rivera.
Thank you so much for having me.
And then we have Danny the Devil Minor.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
This is new, okay?
I'm Danny the Devil now.
It's no longer Miracle 35, although you can find him on TikTok as what?
The Miracle 35.
Miracle
Yes.
35 on TikTok. Thanks so much, Danny, for co-hosting. I have amazing co-hosts here, always making it fun every single week. And then today we have a special guest, Vlad Lepachkin, who is an enrolled agent with the IRS, which is a lot of words. And I really appreciate you coming on the show. This is the second time he's on the Problem Solver show. So
They're
thanks again for joining us.
strong words.
Thank you for having me.
Very strong. So the reason why I love having Vlad come here is just, who can really talk about taxes and accounting and the IRS. Now, he is an enrolled agent with the IRS, so I want him to explain, first of all, his background. What does that mean? Because I think, like today, when I said I was bringing on an enrolled IRS agent, enrolled agent with the IRS, it sounds like you're an IRS agent, right? So tell us about yourself.
Enrolled agent with IRS, it's a federal license. I do not work for the government. I'm licensed by U.S. Treasury to represent taxpayers with the IRS. So when everything goes wrong, people come to me to do damage control. I stand between taxpayer and the service and make sure that people pay the least amount of tax legally possible.
Okay, so you're representing someone like an attorney in regards to the IRS.
Any problems?
Any problems with the IRS. So if you owe money, if they're saying there's penalties, or you didn't
IRS
file
collections,
something, anything whatsoever.
Wage garnishments, bank levies, you name it.
Do you wear like a black suit and a black shirt and you're very intimidating?
I do have it actually, but normally no, I don't know.
Okay. It must be like very interesting for his job. Like, think about it. You like how many times a year would you say that you actually walk into the IRS office?
These days and age, not that many times because
Was it
everything is
COVID?
done remotely. Yeah.
And I feel like that word intimidating just like popped out to me because you're not working with them.
No.
You're working against them.
I'm working for you.
Working for us.
I think
Not
it's-
against them, I would say. I feel
It's a
like
weird
that's
word to
just a
say
strong
against
word.
because it sounds like
Right.
negative.
I'm so sorry I said
No,
that.
no. Well, it's interesting because like I would like to say against but then it's weird because if you're, it's really for. It's probably more like socially.
Well, I'll put it this way. When
You're for the people.
Exactly.
when,
Thank you.
when he told
Thank
me
you.
you were...
You're
when he
for the
told-
people. That's it.
When he told me you were on, the first thing I said was, why do we have an IRS agent on? I mean, that was the first thing I'm thinking. People can't stand IRS agents, right? But this makes sense. I mean,
Dave
this
found
is
out
helpful.
I was gambling.
Yes.
That's what happened.
So, Vlad, tell us a little bit actually in regards to the IRS agents. The big thing in the news is that they hired 87,000 IRS agents, or they are planning on. What's the scoop behind that?
That is true. They're going to hire a massive amount of new employees. What they don't tell people on the news is that 50% of workforce at IRS is due to retire within the next 5 years. So most of the people who are going to be hired, they're going to be hired to replace the people who are going to get retired. So the net inflow is not going to be that great. And also important to remember that since Obama administration, IRS funding has been cut gradually every single year virtually. And it got so bad that IRS right now in a state of collapse. Last year, I think they did a search and IRS was able to answer only 10% of the phone calls. So every single time your tax refund is getting stuck or you can't figure out where your stimulus went, and it drags on for months and months and months, is because IRS doesn't have enough people to solve those questions.
yeah.
So they hiring people, first of all, not to audit people, but to actually make the IRS functioning again.
Do you think that auditing people is their first and foremost like concern, other than giving the unemployment to the people who have went through COVID for so long and not been able to get like compensated and stuff?
The IRS commissioner is promising that they will not go after, low-income families, middle class. It's yet to be seen how it's going to play out.
Right.
And the reason why, when IRS audits high-income individuals or corporations, on every dollar they spend, they get recovered $4. For every dollar they spend auditing low-income families, they get $9 back because there's so much going on. So when they say they're not going to audit people, I would like to believe them, but the money talks, So
Right.
We'll find out soon enough.
I'll be honest with you, it was not a hit with the public. I'm on social media a lot. I have a big following, and people are mad. They believe they're getting audited more, and they took offense to it. That's for sure. People did not like it.
Well, if you think about it, there's only 17,000 employees out of IRS who actually do audits.
I'm sorry, say again?
17,000 IRS employees who actually do audits. And there's about 50,000 people who do backup work, IT, security, phone calls, and everything else in between.
Okay, so not even half.
Less than that, yeah. So when they're going to hire 80,000+ people, somebody has to train them. It's not going to happen tomorrow, even if they hire everybody today. It's going to take them about a year or two to actually bring those people online, and it's going to be a gradual process. I think they're going to hire only 10,000 this year, about 15,000 next year or something.
But eventually it will happen.
Eventually, hopefully, the customer service will improve. I would like to see them spend more money on technology because we are in a sad state of technology when it comes to IRS. In other countries, you can file an appeal from your smartphone, and by the time you get home and make a dinner, you'll get an answer. Here today, things taking months and months and months. We still fax documents to IRS. We still mail them.
And if I could say this real quick, it's just like what I kind of said earlier in our podcast. A lot of like pre-COVID was you're lucky you have a job, and post-COVID is like you're lucky I'm even here.
Exactly.
As an employee.
Times have changed in general. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, let's talk about these different platforms, right? Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, all these different things, and the future in regards to cash and money. Will we have cash in the future? So we'll be back in a quick break.
LasVegasTrafficCameras.com. 1725 Cameras. Access to the largest network of traffic cameras. Accident? Injured? Get the video footage you need to get justice. 725 Cameras. LasVegasTrafficCameras.com.
Heaven forbid you or someone you love has found themselves within the legal system being accused of a serious crime.
Yes, Ryan Helmig. Ryan, thanks for dropping off a book. Sean and I have had the chance to go through it, and this really is a very practical roadmap for anyone.
The goal of writing the book is to help answer the questions that you've heard time and again from families or from defendants that are saying, what the heck do I do here?
Simply just go to Amazon, or if somebody is in the area and they want to stop by my office.
Ryan, thank you so much for sharing that. It was fun to see you with all your mentors inside here as well.
Hey, it's David Kohlmeyer back with The Problem Solver here. We're here with Vlad Lepotchkin, who's a enrolled agent with the IRS, and we're talking about money, taxes, all that good stuff out there. The favorite topic of the people in the community. I wanted to ask you in regards to all these new things. I'm still like clueless. Zelle, Cash App, Venmo. I feel like there's 7 different things. I don't know what's good or bad. I guess the question really comes down to is like, what's the future in regards to cash and money? Like, I hardly carry cash. Danny's got a lot of, dollar bills on him all the time. Credit cards, debit cards, like what's the future? And then people mention federal cryptocurrency. What's your take on just what's going on in the world today?
I think we're steadily drifting toward a cashless society.
Cashless society.
It's happening. I think the federal government will come up with a federal cryptocurrency. I know they have been working on it for quite some time. It's going to take some Congress effort to put it out there. It's a little bit complex. The important part to remember with all the Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, all these providers that starting this year, 2022, you will be 1099 for all your transactions.
For a certain amount, though, right?
If it's over $600.
So that means, okay, here's a good question. Does that mean for the full year, if I do anything over $600, I'm going to get a 1099? Is it 1099?
That's what we expect, yes.
Over,
1099K, yeah.
So it's not like per transaction, it's just straight up.
It's total for the year.
Yeah. Oh, it's total for the year?
Total for the year, yeah.
Rewind.
So if you're at 601
That's
for the
crazy.
year, you're going to get, is it 1099?
So, like, if I send, say, my friend, whatever,
TurboTax.
200 this month, 200 next month, and it all totals up to about $800.
Boom.
I would
1099.
expect a 1099.
The way the law is written is those providers, they should not 1099 you for personal transactions. The question is, how would they know? And my uneducated guess is they will not know, so they're just going to go and 1099 everybody blank.
But everybody does that. They always say it's friends and family.
And then where would you be?
Why else would you do it? Because you pay a fee.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And there's a lot of people who are trying to ski the taxation of it. Yeah, divert taxation. They're using it as a friends and family. And that's how they fly under radar. And now IRS is trying to crack down on that.
Well, I was thinking they must be losing so much money because everyone's saying friends and family. It's not tax, whatever it is, you know?
They're losing tens of billions of dollars, yeah.
You know, I want to bring up something that was very interesting, and I want to get your point on this. They used to say that drugs in general, basically, no one really wants to get rid of drugs, illegal drugs, because it actually supplies money into our system, into the GDP. Like there's a percentage of illegal drug money years ago. People were selling drugs, and now they're selling drugs, and they're just changing money, and you see it like show up in the feed, right? Like food, lunch, different things. So now anyone that's basically selling drugs illegally, they're going to get a 1099 so the government can try to get tax money because they've been losing money because, you know, they're losing money for all this drug money that's out there. I mean, it sounds crazy to talk about in general, but what I'm saying is that people are paying their mortgages, they're paying for food, they're paying it with drug money. And I know the state, you know, we made it legal now in regards to, you know, purchasing marijuana, but it is interesting because everybody's going to get a 1099, whoever's moving money back and forth on Cash App, Zelle, and Venmo. You know, we've changed money here as well, right? Can you buy something, send something? But I think people are going to be more careful, right? You're saying over $600, everyone gets a 1099.
Pretty much so, yes. A year.
And they're going to have to a year. Because
That's
at first,
crazy.
Total, yeah.
Got it. So the bottom line is that they're going to have to, people are going to have to itemize and keep like track.
They're going to have to explain it one way or another.
And then there's going to be an audit, and they're going to look at, you're going to have to probably, right, include, which is funny we talk about TurboTax, but you're going to have to include, right, if you have Cash App, if you have Zelle, if you have Venmo, you probably have to show transactions.
There is going to be a way to declare that 1099 in your tax return and declare it non-taxable income if it was, in fact, gift from your friends and family. Mm-hmm. But it's yet to be seen how it's going to be implemented.
The weird thing is it's so hard, right?
Why
Friends
do you,
and family.
so, like, why do you name it as, like, gift? Like, instead of, like, you know how Dave just brought up food, bills, or just, like, anything like that, necessities. Yeah, why do you say gift?
Because technically that's what it is.
If I buy
it's
you
not
lunch,
a reimbursement?
It's a gift,
right? You're not in business. And since you're not in business...
How is it not in business? Like say, like you covered from, you had to pay lunch for me, and I said, hey, I'm going to pay you back, and I said, hey, reimbursement for lunch. How is that not business? Because I don't have because I don't have things that considers me in the eyes of the IRS or anything else, that I don't have a business. How do you say that it's not that, and why do you say it's
Well,
gift?
if it's between the friends, you don't want to call it a business. You don't want to venture into that
but
territory.
They'll still take that and account for it.
Well, you're saying it's a gift. Like if I want to buy you lunch, it's a gift, right? Because I'm buying you lunch. You're not paying. You're not reimbursing me.
But you're saying, if I'm correct, that that's still going to be accounted for.
It has to be accounted for because you're going to have 1099, and then we have to figure out on the tax.
So do they
return.
get personable, like if that is your friend or if it's not your friend, or if it's fucking business?
The biggest thing, how do you track it?
They can ask those people to come into the office and actually make a statement that was not a business. That was just a friend transaction.
Okay. And in regards to the future, so in regards to federal cryptocurrency, you believe that eventually the federal government's going to come up with some type of currency. Is it like Bitcoin, or just, what would you say?
Yep, pretty much it's going to be like a Bitcoin. It's going to be federal cryptocurrency.
But do you think that people are not going to have cash in their pocket in coins?
Pretty
Is
much,
that where
yeah.
we're going?
We're going to cashless society.
So
It's just a matter of time.
How many years? 10 years? 20 years?
They have been working on that for the last several years, actually. So
And how does that affect, do you think, Bitcoin and the currencies that are out there now?
I think the smaller cryptocurrency is just going to disappear.
small
The bigger ones, like a Bitcoin, Ethereum, I believe, and it's my just uneducated guess, is going to stay because there's plenty of people who would like to have an alternative to government, and that's why the bigger ones, that's going to survive, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about, a lot of people play, the gambling and slot machines and Keno and stuff like that. Let's talk about reporting that and some tax tips for the future for people. So we'll be back in a quick minute.
Your Honor, I want you to get the full picture of what happened. The real world is sometimes complicated and messy, and so can be criminal justice system. My name is Ryan Helmick. I'm a criminal defense lawyer here in Las Vegas.
LasVegasTrafficCameras.com. 1725 Cameras. Access to the largest network of traffic cameras. Accident? Injured? Get the video footage you need to get justice. 725 Cameras. LasVegasTrafficCameras.com.
Injured? Call 602-HURT. Car accident? Call 602-HURT. Pacific West Injury Law, a firm that focuses on you. Our firm is dedicated to you and your recovery. No fee until we win. Millions recovered. Here when you need us.
Hey, it's David Coleman, the Problem Solver. We're back talking to Vlad, and he is an enrolled agent with IRS. And we were just kind of finishing up a little bit, talking about different topics about money in the future, federal cryptocurrency, a lot of topics that people just don't really know about, and kind of a little nervous, a little scary, about the future in general. I know everybody in Vegas here, since pretty much 95% of the people that are watching this are living in Vegas, they're gambling, they're playing Keno, they're playing slot machines. Tell us in regards to when you win, when do you have to report it? How does that work? People confused. Some people say $1,400, $1,200, $1,201, $1,100, $1,000. What's the rule?
The basic line is any gambling winning is a taxable income to you. But
Any
winning in any amount. But then it comes into the rules and regulations, how do you account for that? And if you want to lower your taxable liability from your gambling wins, you have to keep track of your gambling sessions on 24-hour period. You have to have a log. That's why you see professional gamblers in a casino sometimes next to blackjack table. They write down the number of the table, the name of the dealer, the name of the supervisor. This is how they track how much money they put in and how much money they win. And they will net it out, and that's what goes in the tax return. But it's a lot.
Danny, you play poker. Do you do this?
No.
Like when you hear him talk about it, I mean, I know you don't gamble that much, but
I used to. When I first got here, when I first moved to Vegas, I actually made a part-time living playing poker. I was clearing like $1,900, $2,000 a month playing poker. I calmed down. The pandemic actually stopped me because they closed all the poker rooms. But I did play poker part-time for a living.
And speaking of it being a lot and having to be super detailed, I mean, doesn't that even come in with like donations? Like whatever you donate, you have to be extremely detailed?
That is true. If you put any charitable contribution on your tax return, you have to itemize it. If you donate the clothes or
so they're itemizing as much as people that donate should be itemizing.
Yep, IRS position. If you donate something of the greatest, goodness of your heart, you shouldn't care about deduction. But if you want to put in your tax return, you have to follow the law to the T. You have to have a very detailed list description of items donated.
And if not an itemized list, what is an alternative to make it easier?
What I suggest to my clients is before you take anything to Goodwill, laying down the garage floor, take a picture, email it to yourself as a charitable contribution 2022, be done with it.
Because it's 2022 and that's so much easier. Thank you.
I got one question, and it's probably a stupid question, and you probably don't know, but it's kind of basically an answer instead of a question. Why don't we just make this so much easier? Okay, we're itemizing this. You make this amount of money, you pay this. You make this amount of money, you pay this, right? It's so complicated, right? The tax is so complicated. You make 40 grand, you pay 2,000. You make 50 grand, you pay 2,500. Why don't they do something simpler? Why? Because it's so hard and it's easier for people to cheat this way, easier for everything.
Is it easier for a different type of class though? Like whether you're independent and a boss and you have your own business, or you're working for someone?
Actually, that would be against the people, believe it or not.
Really?
In 2020, 60+% of taxpayers in the United States did not pay any income tax, zero.
Wow.
The family of two kids making decent wages here in Las Vegas, so if they have a house, they pay on average maybe 6% tax. So if you simplify it, you're going to end up hitting those families with a tax that they normally don't pay.
Okay. That's why I'm not a professional. I should hire somebody to do my taxes, Dave.
I mean, in regards to tax, I just feel like you should have a professional do it. It makes me nervous when people are doing these different programs. Nothing against any programs. I just feel you should have someone, a professional, educated to do these things that has experience, especially for someone like him, that he sees what the IRS is sending. Specifically, I think that his enrolled agent with an IRS, that he's dealing with the IRS all the time. They know what they're looking for in general. So you want to be careful, right? If you know there's certain, maybe someone's deducting too much of, donations or something, like, hey, like you can't deduct $50,000 worth of clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think things are red flags. And I know in the certain programs, they tell you like red, like it's kind of funny if you think about it. The program's saying like in red, like you're more likely to get audited, right? Like the program's telling you this. I just think you should just have a professional doing it. Just like if you went to a dentist or if you had to have surgery, you want a professional to guide you through the process because the laws are constantly changing. I would say, look, what none of us knew in regards to Venmo and Zelle and all this stuff, the person that's doing your taxes right now does not know this type of
TurboTax.
stuff. And how to prepare yourself for the future because of the changes that are taking place. And you said that was 2022, this
That's
year that
correct,
we're in.
yep.
So if you knew this, would you use Zelle and Venmo the way that you normally do now?
No, I won't.
Knowing that what he told you.
I won't now.
So you'll wait to the end of the year to go use like TurboTax, but he would give you the updated tips, say like don't use it or itemize it, or you're gambling right now and you should track it, or you're doing mileage, things have changed. I just think that you need a true
Every
professional.
little thing, yeah.
Real quickly, tax tips. Tell us a few tax tips in regards to people for their next. Okay, so just apply for taxes. Apply. When you have to submit your taxes, April when?
April 15th.
Every single year, never changes.
Sometimes it does change.
When does it change?
When
Danny
it falls
knows.
on a,
Danny, when?
I don't. When they give us an extension.
Who's your
I
tax
thought
advisor?
the
They gave
latest.
us
I thought the
extension in the
latest.
pandemic.
What is the latest?
If you apply for an extension, that's October 15th, yes.
Okay. Well, that's
done
an
that once.
extremely long time.
That should be plenty of time.
Is there a middle ground?
Okay, so what else is there? Deductions in regards to donations of clothes, other things like that. Tell me a little bit about donation of clothing.
As we just described, make sure you have detailed list of items donated. Yes. Claim every deduction that's available for you. Sometimes I've seen people, they're so afraid of IRS, they choose not to claim what they actually entitled to because they're intimidated by the service. If you're entitled to it, claim it. Just have all the paperwork. And especially if you're a small business owner, have all the receipts. Keep all the receipts, have all the detailed records.
Got it. Awesome. One thing I want to do is, I always try to have my co-host and myself included to, you're smiling already. But what I'm saying is you should do your taxes the way you normally would do it. Let's get with him for the next tax return.
Okay.
And show him what we've done, and let's see if there's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's big,
Then we can talk about like the difference. You would have done your return. You would have owed $700, and he
Let's
would look
not
at
offend your girlfriend from doing your taxes, okay?
No, I think it's a good way
She's
to
out in the car
evaluate,
listening
right?
to this.
And I think the best thing that, especially like our viewers, is that they just want the experience. Like if we've been through it, we went through you, we got help. That's like word of mouth business, so it's not just about having you on here, but it's actually doing that. So I really like that idea. No,
it's just good to analyze it in general. So anyway, I really appreciate, Vlad, you coming on the show. Great information. I think we had a lot of fun today in regards to talking about this topic. And Beja, thanks so much for co-hosting. And Danny, thanks so much for co-hosting as well. Vlad, we'll have you come back in the future, maybe right when it's tax time. And again, the goal with the Problem Solver is to help people, give some information, resources. There's a QR code on your screen. You can scan the QR code, have the problemsolver.vegas app on your home screen, which does not mean that you have to go to the App Store. And it doesn't take away battery life. A lot of people don't know. Scan it, add it to your home screen. When you have a problem, you contact who?
The problem solver.
Problem solver.
Period.
702-999-1111. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week. Be safe.
Our attorney, Ryan Helmick. Why is it so important to have an attorney in your corner?
The state of Nevada is represented by the prosecutor, who is an attorney. And so an individual that is charged with a crime should likewise be represented to level the playing field. And as well, you want to have somebody who has experience in dealing with these types of cases, knows what type of evidence that needs to be put forth, what type of story needs to be told to the jury in order for them to see all the facts and the circumstances surrounding the case.